This is the Hollywood Outsider, weekly entertainment podcast, where this week we're going to look at upcoming releases, including the Iceman and Iron Man 3. We're going to review Oblivion. Our From the Outside In topic this week, memorable film or TV jump the shark moments. We'll explain it when we get there. We're going to have the latest movie and TV news, including our own trivia segments. My name is Aaron Peterson. With me today are my fellow host, Brian Williams.
Woo!
That was a little too dramatic. Justin McCumber.
Yippee! Ah, fuck, I got nothing. How do you follow that? Hey, Aaron.
Hey, and Scott Clark.
Hey, how's it going, Aaron?
Good. How was your day off?
My day off?
Last week you weren't here. See, you don't even remember.
Oh. Yeah, it was good. Went out to dinner with my brother and his girlfriend.
Did you play Xbox?
I did not.
At all? The whole day?
That day I did, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. This is episode 90. So we have 10 more episodes until episode 100. I have no idea what to do for that. Anybody have any ideas? What's that?
You can count.
I can.
Math is my best subject.
I go to learned houses. Walmart is apparently offering Man of Steel advanced screening tickets for June 13th, 7 p.m. So you will only be able to see it with fellow Walmart shoppers. Does that sound fantastic to anyone?
I don't know. Have you looked at people of Walmart lately?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that was my joke.
That was everybody's joke, Brian.
I think this is going to be one of those things that is just the beginning of stores having, they've, for a long time, stores have had their exclusive versions of DVDs or games or whatever, but I can see it now that they're all going to have their Walmart premiere nights and things like that. It's just a sign of things to come. Hopefully they'll start using better stores, though, because Walmart sucks.
I know. Now, if it was Target, I'd be all over it. But
the French company.
I don't have any overalls. I can't go to the screening. I wouldn't fit in. I'm kidding. I go to Walmart all the time. Please don't write.
You do have some juicy short shorts, that's got.
I do have some
tattoos on the back of it.
I was about to say, do they say juicy on the back?
They do say juicy. He's got a few pair. One's pink, one's bright green.
Why's it got to be bright green?
I think you guys are assuming the worst on this, though.
It matches the cheese.
I mentioned this earlier. I think you're going to have less of those kind of people that you're worried about running into at the theater, and more people that don't shop at Walmart.
You mean you people? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, not at all.
What do you mean, you people?
You're going to have people that don't normally shop at Walmart.
Dance, Scott. Dance.
Going to Walmart to pick up these pre-screening tickets because that's the only place you can get them because they want to see that movie one day earlier that much.
See how committed he was to get away from the you people? He just kept going. He's like, I'm not even going to acknowledge any of you. Go.
Look around for the folks who look lost and disgusted. They're there for the tickets.
Can we do layaway? All right.
I shop at Walmart, so
oh God, I hate Walmart.
I've been to Walmart,
go in there unless I can totally avoid it.
I will shop at Walmart, but I'm not oblivious to the fact that, I know what's here. A lot of what's here is exactly what people make fun of. There's a reason there's stereotypes sometimes. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Have you seen the video with the girl on meth shopping on Facebook? That's hilarious.
There's a girl on meth
on Facebook?
Well, the video of her is shopping.
Where's the comma go in that? Because I didn't quite get it.
Comma?
They don't use commas in the South.
I got you.
We talked about it last week, so it's not really new. It's not our news segment, but we want to mention it. Stallone apparently passed Crazy Mel Gibson, and now he picked up little-known director Patrick Hughes to direct Expendables 3. I don't know if anybody's excited about that, but it's not Crazy Mel Gibson.
Yeah, I don't know if excitement really kind of does anything for me, but we'll see.
Who is this Hughes guy? What has he done?
What's he done?
It's like Red Hill. It's some little-known movie, Hill or Red Mill or something. Nothing. That's what he's done. Nothing.
So what am I supposed to be excited about?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's next on the list?
Iron Man 3 is about to become the first film released in the 4DX format in Japan. Is this what you guys want for a future theater-going experience, Justin?
Well, the easy thing... Well, first to let everybody know what 4DX means. It's popular in Asia. They actually have these 4DX theaters across Asia, over into Mexico. I really don't know how many countries. The U.S. is apparently the only one left that doesn't. But it's a theater in which the seats will move a little bit. They also pipe in like smells and like wind blowing effects and things like that to break that fourth wall, give it that 4D effect, going beyond just the 3D and actually putting air or mists of water into your face, jiggling your seat. it's easy to poo-poo that kind of thing and just kind of look at it as yet the cinema falling further into gimmicks. But as long as it's just one option out of many, I don't really see a problem with some theaters adopting this kind of experience. I don't want it in every film I go to because God, I can't imagine the smells in, a good horror movie. But, for something like a good action film or something like this, say like a Superman when he's flying through the air and maybe the wind's blowing at your face, that I could see something like that actually being a little entertaining for one of my viewings. But they're doing it over in Japan, and this will probably be just the first film to do it. I don't think it'll become as ubiquitous as 3D because the expense of all these systems is probably outrageous. But I don't know. I'd actually like to have that as an option somewhere.
Yeah, it's supposed to be something, I guess, the equivalent of about $13 extra on top of the normal ticket price.
Yeah, they're definitely charging a premium for this.
What people don't realize is that if you've been to any theme park in the last 5 years, you've probably gone to one of these. I mean, Universal Studios has Shrek 4D and
the Terminator.
Oh gosh, when I went through the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas, when the Hilton used to have it, their system had the wind and little spritzings of water and stuff like that. So yeah, I've done something kind of like it.
It's fun. I went to one Disney World years ago. It was like Alien Encounter or something like that, and it had the same kind of effect. I think that was fantastic. Like Justin said, I could do it once in a while. I wouldn't want to do it every time I went to the theater.
No way. But I don't want to see IMAX every time I go to the theater either.
Yeah. See,
or 3D every time I go to a theater.
I don't want to see that most times I go to the theater.
I'm surprised.
It's kind of a cool option. I'm definitely kind of keeping an open mind with this because that's one of the things that I've said. There's really, outside of surround sound, there's really not been very much to change the movie-going experience. It's still the same thing. You buy your you get your ticket, get your drink, your popcorn, whatever, sit down, and watch a giant screen.
I will say I don't know how I feel about smells in the theater.
I'm excited about the possibility.
Why?
That's
What movie are you going to see?
No, because it just gives. If it's now, this is with a caveat that if this is done right, this could potentially immerse you into, let's say, Evil Dead. All right, you take the scene where they go down into the cabin, under the cabin where all these dead things are in.
I just start puking in the theater.
Yeah.
And if they got some rancid smell coming up, I mean, that would just kind of drive home that eerie, creepy feeling.
That'll make my popcorn taste better. Thanks.
So, hey, you're watching something about Mary and something, that infamous scene, and something squirts up on your face.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's go.
To make it clear, though, we said that Iron Man 3D is going to become the first film to play in 4DX format in Japan. But the system has been used in China, South Korea, Thailand, Russia, Mexico, Israel, and several other countries. And Avatar was actually the first film to use 4DX. So really this is just in Japan, but I think it's the first really big movie coming out that they're doing this for. When Avatar first came out, I don't think it had nearly the clout that it did, $1 billion later. So
I'm just trying to.
This has been done.
Right. This one, it's going to be a blockbuster. Avatar, you probably suspected it was going to be a blockbuster.
Let's move on. Clay Tarver has been hired to write a sequel to 2004's Dodgeball. 2004, with Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller seemingly teaming up to face an even bigger threat. I don't know how much bigger you can get in the world of Dodgeball. Do you think this is a little too late for a sequel, B?
Yeah,
Seriously?
This is just... this is starting to be another pattern. I guess we've remade or in the process of remaking everything from the 80s and I guess the 90s too, for that matter. But now we're tackling, I guess you can't necessarily remake something that was that close. So now you just make a late sequel.
I don't know. It seems like you can do both anytime they want. I just don't. This if they had smell-o-vision for this, it would smell like desperation. I don't get why you make a sequel to Dodgeball now. except for their careers are in the toilet or what?
I couldn't imagine making a sequel to Dodgeball 2 years after that. That is such a
true.
one
Thank you.
and done story idea. It doesn't need a sequel. It's a novelty. I love the movie, don't get me wrong, but we don't need more.
That's more montages.
I really don't want more.
It's not going to be funny the second time around. It was funny because of the sheer concept that we're going to have a professional dodgeball league.
If they combined Dodgeball with Zoolander and made that like a Dodgelander 2, I would watch that.
Dodgelander.
Just every once in a while he flips around, looks at the camera. He
Zoo
gets smacked
ball?
in the face. Zoo Ball! Bam. You should write for Hollywood.
I'm on it.
All right, video game Ratchet and Clank is getting its own CGI animated flick due in theaters 2015. I didn't care about this at all, but it's all over the internet, so apparently there's like 4 nerds that do, and Scott's one of them. Is CGI the way that more of these like video game adaptations should go when they go to the big screen?
I think it is and it isn't. It depends on the series. This particular series, Ratchet and Clank, it's a weird series. First off,
I love it though.
Do you?
I love Ratchet and Clank.
It's about 2 characters. They're in this fictional world. One's a creature called a Lombax, and the other is a sentient robot. And they basically travel the galaxy and defeat evil forces, basically. But what sets the series apart and what might make this film work is their use of completely over-exaggerated weapons. I'm talking like just hilariously silly weapons that might make it funny. Where it's a little weird for me is when you include video games and animation movies, you automatically gear it more towards kids. And obviously you're not familiar with the series, but this series has taglines in it, like the names of the games are completely innuendo-laden.
Well, there's a lot of animated classics that are full of innuendo. There's innuendo in
No,
Toy Story.
I mean like Going Commando.
Up Your Arsenal, Size Matters, Full Frontal Assault, Quest for Booty, and A Crack in Time. I mean,
Which was originally going to be called Clock Blockers, but they made them change that.
I think for that series, you kind of have to go CGI. I still have high hopes for a live-action video game film that'll work. We haven't seen it really yet, but I'm having patience. I want people to realize that there are good stories built around some of these video games. I had a friend recently that I was explaining the story of a video game, and she couldn't believe that she couldn't wrap her mind around the concept of a story being in a video game. And I think that if people would open their minds up a little bit, they'd see that there is a lot of good stuff there.
It's not about people opening their minds because the movies suck. So if 9/10 of the movies suck, people think the game.
No, I know, but
story
unfortunately,
sucks.
they're not going to play the game either. If you're not a gamer, you're going to miss out on a good
I don't
story.
care if they play the game. I just mean the movie itself.
And I'm not
But I
expecting.
think what Scotty was saying is that a lot of people out there seem to think that video games are still stuck in the Pac-Man era, where really all it is chomp, 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 chomp,
Waka, waka, waka.
moving something around a screen, and that's the end of it. The medium has grown by leaps and bounds, but people who really haven't looked at it since Atari don't know that. But Ratchet and Clank, they're great characters. The games are incredibly fun. The stories are really entertaining, and hell, just the CG cutscenes in the last couple of games have been CGI film worthy. So, to me, this is a natural.
All right. Well, we talked about this before. James McAvoy was originally courted. Apparently, it didn't work out. So now Loki's Tom Middleston looks to be the replacement for Brandon Lee in a remake of The Crow. He's done makeup testing and everything else. Justin, what say you?
Well, and apparently he really wants this role. He did his own makeup tests and sent pictures of it off to the producers. He's spoken with them about his desire to do this film, and they've really responded well to it because they feel like he can bring that sense of not just the hero that is the Crow, but also the darkness that lies, in the very heart of that character. So I think he's perfect casting. I like McAvoy, but I don't think that he can bring the depth of acting and gravity that Middleston can. I think this guy is just a better trained actor and capable of more things. He's not a physical presence like Brandon Lee was in the original film, but I think he can bring that sense of weight and menace that Middleston brought with Loki. I think he can do it to The Crow, and I think this is absolutely fantastic casting.
Yeah, Middleston. Hiddleston.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Hiddleston. Did I say Middleston?
yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah,
No.
you tripped both me and Justin with your typos and stuff.
Well, I'm glad you pay attention.
I just read what's in front of me, man.
Really, as far as acting goes, I think he was by far the highlight in the Avengers. His ability to kind of understand. He kind of sucks you in with his couple of scenes where he looked like he was maybe regretting his decision, and then he does what Loki does, and he tricks you, and all of a sudden he's a a-hole again. So his ability to kind of bounce back and forth between that is just, I just think he's a phenomenal choice for the Crow, and I'm definitely all aboard on this.
I stand by what I said originally, that's one, use any other character from the Crow, and I'm fine with it. Leave Eric Draven alone, because out of respect, I think it's wrong. I have nothing against him. I'm sure he'll do fantastic, but it's just, that's one of those roles I won't be able to watch and not turn Brandon Lee off. So we've told you about this before. This is a big story. People on the internet are going apeshit. I didn't realize that it would be this big a deal, but Daredevil's rights have now reverted back from Fox to Disney/Marvel. So Marvel now officially re-owns Matt Murdock. Does that make you giddy, Brian?
Absolutely. The possibilities with this is just outstanding. He's got ties with the Punisher, there's obviously Thomas Jane wants to play the Punisher again. That would be so awesome. Just think about like that big fight in New York. If they could squeeze in the Punisher and Daredevil representing and Spider-Man representing their parts of New York. Mm-hmm. That would be kind of cool.
Do you want to see like a reboot or?
No, I don't really want to see a reboot. I would rather see them. Here's what I want to see in one of the movies that leads up to the Avengers 2, if not in the Avengers 2 itself. Have maybe a scene where you don't even really need much of the movie, but have Matt Murdock's lawyer practice. Maybe kind of representing one of the characters, or maybe a villain. Mm-hmm. That another character who's we all are aware of at the time, whatever movie it is maybe got some kind of conflict with, and maybe kind of weave him in that way, and then of course at a later time bring him to the forefront as Daredevil.
See, I want a Daredevil movie. That was one of my favorite characters as a kid. It still is. I didn't like. I like the director's cut version of the film. And I think, Justin, you and I are on opposite ends. You like the theatrical, and I like the director's cut, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the director's cut, the way that they cut it in that. I would like to see it redone. I don't think the film did it justice. I didn't actually have a big problem with Ben Affleck. I thought he was fine. But, you're obviously going to have to recast it, get the memory.
I had more of an issue with Colin Farrell than I did Ben Affleck.
I thought Colin Farrell was great. As Bullseye?
To me, it was Elektra that was a disappointment.
Yeah, I didn't.
And I like Jennifer Garner, but I thought she just did a poor job in that one.
She did, but I would like to see that come back to the fold. I would like to see that story retold. That's one of the few reboots I would like. I would just like new actors, new director, new storyline. I wish Michael Clark Duncan could come back because he was a great Kingpin. But outside of that, just scrap it and start over. And I'd like to see a new movie.
Who'd you like to see play?
I have no idea.
No,
I would like an unknown. It's not a role I don't like. I really don't think there's movie stars anymore. There's only a handful left. Tom Cruise, Will Smith, stuff like that. The rest of it, any comic book film seems to be able to be filled with an unknown because it's easier to separate yourself and go in and say, that's the character.
Recognize the character instead of the actor.
Yeah. If you throw like a Will Smith in there, you're going to say, well, that's Will Smith in Daredevil or Ben Affleck in Daredevil.
That's Channing Tatum in a mask.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. He could be Hawkeye and Daredevil, same movie.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And he'd play them both the exact same.
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park. What do you get when you cross Constantine with Men in Black? Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds, basically in the steampunk-ish, semi-ish, R.I.P.D, which is Rest in Peace Division. Ryan
Department.
Reynolds
I think
plays
it's Department.
Okay, Department.
It doesn't matter. You correct me all the time, motherfucker.
You're right. All right. Okay. You're right.
Son of a bitch.
That's all. Note to everybody else out there. Just tell Aaron he's right, and shuts him up pretty quick.
It's true.
Ryan Reynolds, he plays a rookie dead cop who's paired up with a veteran dead cop, Jeff Bridges, to stop a master plan that's basically a plot to end life as we know it and find his own killer. Now, Justin, are you giddy to see Jeff Bridges bring Rooster Cogburn back from the dead? Or maybe just seeing what he's up to since he's been dead?
No.
Ooh, that was a deep sigh.
When I heard the original synopsis of the film and, the whole idea of lawmen being turned into ghostly lawmen, it sounds like it's, a pretty cool idea. I love stories that have those strange supernatural spins to it. But as soon as I saw the trailer, I was so disappointed. So incredibly disappointed. I mean, to everyone who has said this is nothing but a Men in Black ripoff, yeah, you couldn't be more right. I mean, if the things they were hunting actually looked like ghosts or demons or some kind of supernatural entity, then I probably would have been a bit more forgiving. But there is really no difference between what they're hunting in that trailer and half the shit I saw in the Men in Black films. Mm-hmm. There's no distinction, really, and that is so disappointing. I mean, I just... The only thing I found halfway entertaining was Bridges' accent. I thought that was kind of... the first time he spoke, I was like, oh my God, really? Second time, I bought into it, and I liked it more the rest of the trailer through. But everything else, lackluster, just no originality on display. It's so disappointed.
I really was too. I couldn't agree more. I love the idea, the first 20 seconds of the trailer, and then it just got more silly than I would have liked by the end of it.
There's some interesting parts. I like how nobody sees them, and Ryan Reynolds is actually seen, when people see them on the street, he's an old Chinese guy, and Jeff Bridges is a hot blonde. That part I thought was funny.
Isn't it the guy from Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But even still, though, how often are you really going to see them in that fashion throughout the movie?
I hope not much.
Because it's Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges. You're not going to hide them very often.
Plus, the joke wore thin in the trailer, so I can't imagine they stretched it out.
Why even have them visible? If you're a ghost hunting other ghosts or whatever, just make them invisible. And in the few times when shit breaks out, then, explain it away with ghostly images or something. It seems like some kind of plot device that's there for a joke that, Aaron, you're right, it's going to wear thin so fast.
It is. It looks like it has the potential to be fun, but the fact that it just seems like such a blatant ripoff of all the other Men in Black movies, really, it just turned me off. I mean, it makes it really hard to look forward to that.
And see, I'm actually kind of surprised a little bit because I felt this. I feel the same way as all of you guys do. And this, I guess maybe I misread some of the little. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of discussion on this, but when we were kind of bouncing around this, this trailer, I kind of got more of an excited vibe from you guys. So that kind of surprises me that you guys are not exactly rooting.
That's what we do, Brian. We throw curveballs.
I just want a new Ghostbusters film. Fuck this shit.
Where did that come from? Just because there's ghosts in it?
Well, it's like Ghostbusters meets Men in Black.
All right.
And I'd rather just have a fucking Ghostbusters movie. I mean,
Peter Venkman shows up randomly.
Yeah, something.
That would have been clever if you saw him and people saw him as Peter Venkman and Dan Aykroyd. That would be fantastic.
One of them had on a Ghostbusters shirt, with the ghost and the big, cross through. Now that would have been kind of fucking funny.
It cost $9 million to do that.
That's worth it. That's an investment, Scott.
That's pretty expensive joke.
Don't turn you white.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just not really.
Well, stop bringing the party down. Bring the party up.
Anyway, July 19th, R.I.P.D. Check it out. Don't check it out. Whatever tickles your fancy. So, from the netherworld to the dark world.
Wow.
Brian
hired a writer.
That, my friends, is what the French call a segue. We catch up with Thor in Thor, the Dark World. And like I said, it's post Avengers, so it's after all that stuff that happened where they messed up a whole freaking large city. And
He don't care. He don't live there.
Exactly, whatever. It's a rental.
It's a rental.
So, and basically, he has to take on a race of dark elves led by Malekith. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but look it up. Somebody will correct us, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Who's also played by the awesome Christopher Eccleston, and a lot of you Doctor Who snobs will probably be a little bit giddy about that. And of course, he's going to have to enlist the help of his loving brother Loki. So, I'm not even going to ask Aaron if you're excited about this. This just falls straight into the Marvel Universe, cinematic universe, and everything. So I know for a fact you're going to be here just about opening night to see it. But what did you think about the trailer?
I will be there. I don't understand why Jane has to be in it, to be honest. I mean, I understand she's
Natalie Portman.
Yeah,
Natalie Portman.
Pretty much it.
I get.
And she was signed on a contract.
It's just, it seems like the movie's going to take place in Asgard, which is great. That's what I want, because I don't want another, we're going to have Avengers 2. I'll see Thor back on Earth for that. I want to see more of Thor's world, and, that's what I want to see. So I don't really see the point of her coming back. And plus, at some point, she's got to be pissed, because he didn't stop by and say hi the last time he was here. I mean...
He had shit to do.
His hands were a little bit full.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Did he think she's not going to notice he was here?
Benefit of the doubt here. He
is in deep
a lot of
shit.
shit going on.
He's in deep shit.
He had time to stop for a shawarma or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. He had time.
Yeah, and he couldn't even say a word. I mean, he was so ass whipped.
I don't even think he called. What a fucker. Why would she go to his house?
Look, he had the Tesseract and Loki. He had to haul that back to Asgard, and they had issues with the bridge and all that stuff. I mean, construction, that stuff takes time. I mean,
all right.
Yeah,
just the Tesseract. Let me tell you, it's not that expensive because both you and Justin own one. So apparently that handles things out like candy.
Yeah, well, that's I mean, our awesomeness just exudes. Just
onto this podcast.
There you go. Wordsmith.
I like it. I hope they don't have to force it into Earth to explain that story, because I saw a little bit too much of Earth. I didn't want Earth as part of the story. If you got to do it to get Jane to his home world or whatever, fine. I just hope it's a short clip, because I really want to see the most of the movie take place in Asgard. That's really all.
From what I gather, it looks like the Dark Elves and stuff are trying to take over Asgard. So that's what I assume. It's the vast majority of it's going to be in Asgard and his Thor's neck of the woods and stuff. So
now, do any of us know if the woman who's playing Sif in this movie, is it the same woman who played her in the first Thor film? That was the female of his little group of warriors.
The one that gives the little evil eye, like, why's that bitch here? That one?
Yeah, she looks different. I don't know if that's the same actress or not, but it looks like it's the same role.
What do you mean? How
Sif.
Well, I get that. I think it looks the same.
I thought she looked different, but
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, what?
Yes.
Okay.
I just looked it up on IMDb. It's the same chick.
Okay.
What about
she
her looks
different? So.
What about her looks different, in your opinion?
That she looked different.
She just looked different.
Yeah, I mean, I can't sit here and say her eyes were at a different angle or her complexion.
I know, just get that feeling.
The lighting of her cheekbones made her look like David Carradine.
She didn't look like the chick I remembered. Why are you grilling me, man?
Justin, Scott, just smack him for us.
I can't. It's too far across the
table.
It
is too far.
So, all right, well, Thor, The Dark World opens up on November 8th later on this year. So kind of surprising it's not really going to be a kind of a summer movie, but I guess summer's pretty much booked up with all the other stuff coming out.
Do you want to go up against Man of Steel?
Not really. But Thor against Superman would be an awesome fight. Just saying.
I think Iron Man will beat Superman.
Yeah, I think so.
What?
In the box office, it's going to beat Superman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were about to get into a nerd war. Unless that fucking suit's made of kryptonite, I don't think so. We're about to throw down.
There's going to be Big Bang Theory up in here.
Okay, we can move on.
Oh, man. Before there's some shit broken all up in here. All right, y'all, watch these trailers and those from recent episodes at thehollywoodoutsider.com. Let us know if you got anything you want us to chat about. You can do that a number of ways. You can go onto Twitter at H_outsider. Go on to Facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Like us on there. Post whatever questions, comments, stuff you got. Or, of course, you can also email us. We always love getting emails from you guys at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. And for Mother's Day, please go on, buy your mother an awesome I'm a Ho t-shirt.
That's awesome.
Because if your mom's like Aaron, Mom, she
well, she doesn't listen, so it's
Well,
cool.
My mom
well,
loves
she's
her.
got the shirt, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. Yep, she's got
There
one.
you go. That's what I meant.
My mom asked for one.
We don't need your fucking personal turmoil, Scott. Let's move on.
Stump the Hoe.
Stump the Hoe. Each week, one of our hosts poses a trivia question to our remaining hosts in an attempt to stump their fellow hoes as well as you listening. This week, it's my turn. So, you guys ready?
Yep.
Here's my question. It has to do with Iron Man. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit.
Could he beat Superman? No. Next question.
Gwyneth Paltrow plays Pepper Potts in the franchise, right? You're all aware of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that was not John Favreau's first choice. His first choice to play Pepper Potts was either A, Emma Stone, B, Rachel McAdams, C, Katherine Heigl, or D, Jennifer Lopez.
You mentioned two we're not allowed to talk about on the show anymore, so
Scott, pick one.
they'll come back to me.
All right, no, because you always steal somebody else's fucking answer.
All right, say them one more time.
Rachel McAdams, Emma Stone, Katherine Heigl, Jennifer Lopez.
Emma Stone.
Okay, of course, it's the only one he likes. Brian.
I'll say Katherine Heigl.
And Justin.
I'm going to go with Rachel McAdams.
Justin is a winner. He's the
winner, chicken dinner.
Congratulations. You win absolutely nothing.
But your unending love and adoration.
Absolutely, but you never lost it. So it's always there.
That's true. That's true.
Now let's go to the big screen where we're going to review Oblivion. Justin, what is Oblivion about? But don't spoil it. So good luck explaining what it's about.
Leave it up to me, bro. Now, Oblivion is a film that was co-written and directed by Joseph Kosinski, who was the director of Tron Legacy. And it's based on an unpublished graphic novel written by him, and I forget the name of the other dude he's writing it with. Beside the point.
Hank.
It stars Tom Cruise, Olga Kurylenko, Andrea Riseborough, and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I think it's Riseborough.
There's 12 Z's in that name.
Andrea the RZA.
The RZA.
Riseborough, Andrea the RZA. And the film takes place in 2077, and it opens with what I always hate to see in a sci-fi film, but it opens with exposition that explains why the world is the way it is when we first see it in the film. This is 60 years after the Earth was attacked by aliens known as scavengers who destroyed the moon. Earth had to use nukes to take them out. Now humans have left Earth to go populate Titan. Meanwhile, they've left behind some people to pull resources off of the planet so that humans can use them on Titan. Tom Cruise is Tech 49 Jack Harper, and he works alongside... they never really say wife, girlfriend, anything like that, but they're co-workers, and you get into the film pretty early on, and they're also lovers, but their job is to secure the the main ones. Well, no, that's right. Now, the main thing they show are these massive machines that are sucking up seawater that's supposed to be taken to Titan.
Gathering resources is one way to say it.
Right, but Jack's job is to make sure that all of the drones that protect them from the scavs that have remained on the planet, to protect them against them and sabotage. Pretty early on, you start to think that things aren't what they might appear to be. To say anything more than that is to really start edging into spoiler territory. And I don't want to do that because this film does have a few twists in it that well, we'll talk about whether we like them or not. So let's start this thing off first. The story, how did you guys like it without getting into spoilers? Did you find it satisfying? Were you left wishing it had, gone a different direction? Kind of what were your thoughts on that? And Brian, why don't you start us off?
I thought it was, I'll say this, it wasn't exactly what I thought by watching the preview, by watching the trailer. It did go a different direction. a better direction than what I had envisioned what I was going into. That being said, once it got started, Aaron, I know you and I talked about this briefly, but it was fairly predictable.
Yeah, I had it figured out about 15 minutes into the movie. I'm like, well, this is how it's going to end. Except for there is a love story to it that actually I actually like that part of the story more than I like the main story. And it's really just a small, tiny part of it. But I had more faith in that than I did the overall story, which is really hard to talk about because obviously you don't want to spoil. Mm-hmm. It's just, for me, it was very predictable. I still like the story, but it was very predictable. And when you know how a movie's going to end, when you have an hour and a half left to go, it makes it hard to sit there and go, wow, that story is fantastic. Because I kind of figured it out. But I've seen a lot of movies, too. So
it was also pretty derivative. There was a lot of nods to movies like Independence Day. I still liked it.
I like the story, but really the runtime on this film is a little over 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time it was done, they easily, I think, could have chopped a half an hour and made the pacing on it a lot tighter. I don't like it when sci-fi stories start off with a lot of exposition, because to me that just reeks of lazy writing, especially when throughout the film they give you all that information over again.
Wasn't it like the longest prologue I can remember?
It's like, just get rid of the prologue. Don't need it. Drop us in, and throughout the first, half hour to an hour, dole out that backstory. I don't need it all given to me in, a Star Wars-like crawl. Just dump me in the world and trust that I'm smart enough to get where you're going and you be good enough to get us there. And we're all going to get there okay. But all in all, it was an entertaining story. I didn't see some of the twists coming. I did see some of the others, though. I like, though, that it was a film that didn't go the predictable route all the time and that they tried to do some interesting things. So on that score, I give the film some marks, but they definitely could have tightened the pacing and gotten rid of a lot of just dull moments in this thing. Tom Cruise, I've actually heard him being hammered a little bit on his performance, and I really don't understand why. I think just about everyone in this film does a good job at what they're doing. I actually think Cruise and the woman who Olga Kurylenko or
Kurylenko.
Why am I turning into Aaron?
I don't know.
Olga Kurylenko.
But you just got handsome.
Yeah, Kurylenko did a really good job.
She did.
I found her especially riveting because the whole time I'm like, is she human? Is she alien? Is she android? Is she this? Is she that? Because while in one hand she was believable, on the other hand she was just a little too tightly wound, a little too odd. And so her story surprised me, I think, almost more than anybody's kind of did, because I kept expecting a twist, and when I got it, it wasn't the one I thought of. But everybody I thought was pretty good. What did you guys think?
I fell in love with Olga. She should just change her name to Ogle, because that's what I'm doing every time I watch her now. Jennifer Lawrence better watch her back. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with Justin on not understanding the hate for Tom Cruise, because on one hand, I want to say Tom Cruise was Tom Cruise in this movie. That sounds like he's being typecast, but he's just so entertaining to watch on screen in anything that he's in. I also particularly enjoyed Andrea Riseborough's performance as Vika or Victoria.
You don't mean Riseborough? Riseborough?
No. Especially in the scenes where she was acting, not necessarily to the audience in the theater, but acting to some of the other characters in the movie. And you could see her trying to sell that she had this emotion, but behind her a little bit, you could see that she had this other emotion going on at the same time. I really enjoyed watching her do that. Plus, the way the story went with her was my favorite aspect of the movie. I really liked her performance. What I was a little disappointed in was Morgan Freeman. Surprisingly,
you mean Lawrence Fishburne?
Yeah. Well,
he's only in it for the trailer would have you think he's in it a lot more than he actually.
Yeah,
is.
it's like a glorified cameo.
Kinda.
Hello, Lannister there was not too bad either.
Yeah, when he just pops up, Jamie Lannister just
that
shows
was
up.
a surprise. I did not expect to see that.
And
now,
Tom Cruise, before we move on, Tom Cruise, did he sell his soul to Scientology or what? Because the fucker is immortal. He still looks like he's 35 even.
No, there were some moments where he's starting to look his age a little bit around the eyes, and it's getting harder and harder to believe that he would be, with some of these leading ladies that he's with. because he's starting to look quite a bit older to be, their husband or their boyfriend.
I disagree with that, man. I think he looks much better than most people I know that are 50 years old.
Well, fuck yeah, he does, but
I agree.
it's catching up, I think. But he did a great job.
I pray that I am catching up when I'm look like that when I'm 50.
Well, go to Scientologists and
I'm thinking about it.
Too.
I'm like, what do you got to pray to? Like a spaghetti monster? I can do it.
I did want to ask you guys, though, Andrea Riseborough, did you notice her pupils as much as I did?
They were huge.
They were huge the whole movie through.
I did notice that.
And I started thinking, is she on drugs? Or what is going on? Because her pupils are dilated constantly. And that kind of threw me off a little bit. But I thought she did a great job.
It's a lonely world. She's probably smoking a little weed. You know what I mean?
Maybe you got to do something while he's off fixing drones and shit. Now, the production quality on this movie, in my opinion, is phenomenal. Whether it's
Gorgeous.
the CGI or just the sets, they look fantastic. Did you guys spot anything that you thought didn't sell, or were you as blown away as I was?
I'm pretty much as blown away as you were. The one thing that bugs me, and it's the year 2077. Isn't it time for robots to start seeing humans like how we actually see them instead of like an infrared heat thing? That seems like that should have done a long time ago.
Well, there's a lot of story points I have with these robots and aliens that I would bring up, but that would go into spoiler territory.
Okay.
Well, visually, it looks gorgeous. I mean, the movie looks gorgeous. It does suffer a little bit from the same thing that Joseph Kosinski did in Tron, which is Tron was visually stunning as well, but I thought there was like no heart to the story. I just couldn't get behind the story at all. You know, this one I think he's getting a little bit better. But the one thing he's got, no matter what he does, is he can frame a shot. He can shoot action. He's a very gifted director. I have no qualms about him in terms of his visual style. It's more in just how he handles the story part of it. But
I feel like a hypocrite loving the art style in this movie too, because I didn't like it. And then a movie like Total Recall, where it's like the black and white, very stark contrast like that. With
I would say it's totally different too.
Would you really?
Yeah. I don't think it's totally the same kind of film.
Well,
It's
totally.
more in line with Prometheus, I would say.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I was going to kind of compare it to, is that is Prometheus, where visually one of the prettiest. It'll probably be one of the prettiest movies of the year.
Absolutely.
But the story doesn't quite catch up with the visuals.
And speaking of production, one of the best scores I've
yeah.
heard in a long time.
M83, God, that's fantastic.
It really stood out more than any soundtrack I've heard in quite a long time.
It was very impressive.
Did any of you see it in IMAX?
I saw it on a massive screen. It wasn't an IMAX screen, but it's still a pretty big screen.
I kind of wish I had, just because of how crisp it looked even in the regular theater I saw it in. HD would have been awesome.
All right, guys. Well, what did you think, though, overall of the film? If you had to give it 1 out of 10, what would you give it, and would you recommend this film to other people?
Good story. Could have been better. Tightened up a little bit. Stunning visuals. Great score. 7 out of 10.
Scotty?
Although lowered expectations may have helped me, I thoroughly enjoyed the places the film took me and recommend not overlooking it as being just popcorn. I give it 8 out of 10.
What about you, Bri?
I'm going to split the middle. I'm going to give it a solid 7.5. Again, stunning visuals. Tom Cruise, as Aaron likes to say, he's pretty much the last superstar actor. So, for him alone, he's worth it. 7.5. Go enjoy it. Have fun.
As a sci-fi guy, I appreciated what they did. I have some issues with the story, but the film as it was, beautiful. Could have moved a little faster. The sounds and the music were amazing. Performances were really good. I got to give it an 8. I want to take away some because of that slow pacing, but fuck it. There are other aspects that really lifted it. So a good 8 out of 10. And I think people who like sci-fi films, maybe like a little post-apocalyptic kind of stuff, go see it. Don't let any kind of misgivings about Tom Cruise dissuade you from seeing it. It's a good film with good performances.
Real quick, I know, Aaron, I believe it was you that brought this up a few months ago and stuff, or a little while back, as far as the timing of this movie. I really think this is the prime time of the year for this movie. I don't think this would hold up as well if this was sandwiched between like Pacific Rim and Man of Steel, or
just because
something like that.
The lingering pace that it endures. Because
Right.
it's a little slower than, yeah, you're right. It wouldn't.
Right. So I think this is, this is a time where people can watch it and appreciate it for what it is versus going, oh, geez, I was just blown away by this movie and that movie with all these visuals and stuff. And you go, yeah, it was all right. So Mark, somebody, those guys know what they're doing in the whoever slots the times of the year.
All right, and Ashley actually wrote us she went and saw Trance, so she wanted to share her thoughts, which that's cool. If anybody ever wants to write like a little 2 sentences or less review of a movie, feel free to throw it on the Facebook page, and we'll mention it. Said Trance was that's a Danny Boyle movie. I don't really know much about it, but she said Trance.
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy. That guy's making some really interesting choices. He really is. Trance is exactly as good as I thought it would be. Story kept me guessing, but ended nicely. The score was wonderful, and the acting was great. 8.5 out of 10. She thought it was one of the best Danny Boyle movies she's seen, and Kyle B. also saw it and said it was one of his better films. He would give it an 8.5 to 8.80, just to be different.
Breaking it down into the dimes and nickels, people.
It was funny because there were people in the theater that I guarantee had no idea who Danny Boyle is or what types of movies he makes, so I enjoyed it, but it was definitely a great film. So, cool. Thanks for writing in. We appreciate it. Box office. Oblivion. Obliterated. 37 million bucks. Made. It cost 120 million, but it's already made a lot overseas. So they're saying it's going to be a big hit when all is told, because this movie was made for international audiences too. 42 held up really good. 17.7 million. 53 million. Going to be the first, most likely, baseball movie since A League of Their Own to break 100 million bucks. The Croods, 9.2 million. Nobody gives a fuck. Scary Movie 5 plummeted, thank you America, once again, to 6.1 million. It's made 22 million, and we've officially killed a franchise. Hoot hoot. G.I. Joe.
Yeah, you say that, but
I better be dead, man.
Somebody's going to spend that like 22 million into going, you know what? We can still do 4 more of these movies.
Don't, Brian. Shh.
We'll kickstart it.
Oh my God!
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Who
Hey,
wants
Zach
Scary
Braff
Movie?
is kickstarting a Garden State sequel.
Oh, I know. We had a tweet on that from one of our listeners, Tammy, who was talking about it, and she actually
contributed to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you contributed to Zach Braff's Kickstarter?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because I loved Garden State.
All right.
And I like the idea that guys like him can do these independent small films, and they don't have to go to a big studio and say, okay, I need your money, and in return from that, I'll let you decide this, I'll let you decide that, and how about that other thing? Let them make the film they want to make. Let the people decide if they want to pay for it. And if, the audience out here in Kickstarter land says no, well, then there you go.
Man, there's a lot of people getting mad about this. And
Fuck those people. Those are people who, they want to make little movies for $10,000, and they feel like these guys are coming in and stealing, all of their, all the limelight. And maybe there's an argument to be made there, but the fact of the matter is that these people want to make movies as well, and they don't want the studio saying we get the final cut and we get to pick who stars in it. I'll support them in that. So yeah,
a lot of those guys are in men and women. When I say the word guys, just want to say it's inclusive.
there's no equal opportunity lawyers here, Brian.
And a lot of artists they don't like being told they have to do things a certain way. So, yeah, if they can get the money and get it funded any way possible and still maintain that creative control, then more power to them. I'm not as big of a fan of Garden State as some people, but it was entertaining, and more power to Mr. Braff and whoever else he's associated with.
Yeah, he's not one I would contribute to. I'm sorry, Justin. I didn't mean that to come across like I was knocking it, because I think it was a good movie. It's just I didn't think it was. I wouldn't want to pay for another one of his. Put it that way.
That's no problem, dude. We all know you're an asshole.
But I don't have a problem with him doing a Kickstarter. I don't have a problem if Steven Spielberg wants to do a Kickstarter. People want to donate, they can donate. If they don't want to, they don't have to. I don't really give a shit. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't ruin my day. I don't think it takes away from little people. I think actually we see it more directly than people realize, because as a podcast, we're little known people. We're not in the industry, so to speak. Where you have people that are in the industry that have a podcast.
Dude, I'm huge in Belgium.
But we compete against those. They have a built-in audience, and it jumps right off the bat, where we have to come in and kind of earn ours. So I get where people are coming from, but in the same token, those people have already earned their cred. I mean, if people listen to them or they want to support them and see whatever they're going to do, that's their right. It's their money. They earned it. They do whatever they want.
There's this hipster mentality about Kickstarter that it should only be for underground, small.
Well, you
stuff
actually
like that.
are behind that. You've said you were in the past.
Well, I was. I'm.
Are you coming around? Are you changing your tune?
No, I'm saying I don't like the idea of people that have the money already doing it, other than for what Justin's talking about, where like we're going to get the shows that people actually want and they're paying actual dollars for the shows that they want. But like I told you, there was one before that they were asking like $350 million for something like that. I mean, that's not gonna happen.
Well, then it won't affect you.
That kind of stuff.
Go make Hipster Starter.
Hipster Starter would be awesome.
All right, guys, we have got 2 films opening up on May 3rd. The first one, The Iceman. It's a crime thriller directed by Ariel Vroman and starring Michael Shannon with James Franco and Chris Evans. It's the true story of Richard Kuklinski, the notorious contract killer and family man. When finally arrested in 1986, neither his wife nor daughters had any clue about his real profession. Given the fact that given the movie that this is going to be going up against, I can't imagine the producers of this film think it's going to make more than a few bucks, but stranger things have happened. Aaron, are you going to plan on chilling out in the theater with this one?
This is a really cool story. People should look up his story. He's a vicious son of a bitch, and I want to see this movie. We saw the trailer a long time ago. I really want to see the movie. Like you said, really stupid choice. I mean, even if it's limited, wherever you're limited at, great, your mom's going to go. I mean, that's really about it. Iron Man's coming out the same weekend. You should have waited. This should have been a fall release or something, or a spring release.
Bad timing.
Dropping it same weekend, bad call. But I do want to see it. I will see it at Redbox. I'm scared to say I probably won't pay $10 for it.
Michael Shannon is becoming one of my favorite actors to watch.
I don't love him as much as you do.
I do. I think he's so entertaining.
I have to. This is not something I say very often, but I have to agree with Scott. I love Michael Shannon's acting, and he just brings an intensity that a lot of other actors don't bring.
Brian, go take a shower now.
Here's what's funny about the trailer.
With bleach.
It bugs me when they do this in trailers. They start listing off the name of the actors, and they go, Academy Award nominee Michael Shannon, Academy Award nominee Winona Ryder, Academy Award nominee James Franco, and Ray Liotta, and Chris Evans.
Oh, that's right. Chris Evans is in this too.
Yeah.
I fucking said that.
I know, but I don't listen when you talk. So
okay.
Because Justin, you talk for so long and so often, it's hard to keep up.
You learned how to kind of tune it out.
A little bit.
I gotcha.
Well, they do that to sell the dramatic. Like, we've got quality actors. We've got quality actors. We're sorry these bitches never got a nomination, but we've got some quality actors.
There's just no way to do that without.
Ray Liotta should have been a Best Actor winner.
How has he not been
Goodfellas.
Nominated?
Goodfellas. He should have won.
Yeah.
Nominated.
Well, if this was a Scorsese film, I think I would be a lot more interested.
Oh, you don't want to see it? I forgot. We weren't actually asking you. What did you think?
Well, I'm interested in seeing it, but not in the same weekend that Iron Man 3 is going to be steamrolling over it. This will more than likely be one of those things I watch on streaming video or something once it's out for that. But if it was a Scorsese film and it was, an unofficial kind of Goodfellas 2 sort of a thing, I would be a lot more likely to go into a theater before its run ended. But given that it's Ariel Vroman, who I looked up his credits, he has really directed nothing of note, just a few other films that I've never heard of. So I'm not exactly, waiting with bated breath to jump into the theater to see his, first really big film. But Michael Shannon's cool. It looks like an interesting film, but I'll stream it.
Have you guys seen the HBO documentaries?
Yes.
From 20 years ago?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
See, that I have too, and that's. I remember those because that was one of those were really some of the first ones that they started doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
next to Tossing the Salad, that was the most impressive documentary I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
What? Wait, what?
The one about guys in jail where they're like, toss my that's a lot.
Right.
I can't explain it right now.
Unfortunately, I know what you're talking about.
I prefer syrup.
Poor Scotty.
No, he's a very ice in the veins, cold ass mofo.
Just matter of fact, yeah. Hey, I stabbed him in the throat 12 times.
Mm-hmm. Shit happens.
Yeah. They actually interviewed him. Like
he was a nice guy, really. I mean, personally, he was a nice guy, but hey, the boss said I had to take him out. Mm-hmm. So I took him out.
That concept.
And then I went to my daughter's birthday party.
He did. That's true. I mean, just crazy shit like that. What else do we got? I think we got a bigger movie coming out.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about really the only film that's going to be seen in theaters this weekend. Iron Man 3. It's a sci-fi action film directed by Shane Black, starring Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Guy Pearce, and Ben Kingsley, a.k.a. Gandhi. Marvel's Iron Man 3 pits brash but brilliant industrialist Tony Stark against an enemy whose reach knows no bounds, the Mandarin. When Stark finds his personal world destroyed at his enemy's hands, he's left to survive by his own devices, relying on his ingenuity and instincts to protect those closest to him. As he fights his way back, Stark discovers the answer to the question that has secretly haunted him all these years. Does the man make the suit, or does the suit make the man? We know how this is really going to play out, but let's go ahead and go through the motions. Who here wants to see Iron Man 3?
I do.
I really wish they would have used the, was it the Devil in the Bottle? Or whatever that storyline was, where it was really his alcohol.
Genie in a Bottle? I think that was Christina Aguilera.
Shut the fuck up. The bottle storyline. The storyline where it's about his alcoholism. I wanted to see that at least in one of these films. I wanted to see it prominent. And I get it, it's hard to translate, but I was really looking forward to that.
They tried to hit on that a little bit in the second movie. He started drinking more because of the pain and whatnot being caused by that metal that was spreading through his body from that heart implant. But they never really went as far as they could have or should have with it.
Shane Black really gets me excited for the dialogue. I think the dialogue is going to be so much punchier than it has been. Like, I don't worry about special effects. I know he's like a low-budget director. He did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and he wrote Lethal Weapon. So he's good with dialogue. He writes really snappy, really punchy dialogue. I'm looking forward to a kind of a new look and feel for Iron Man.
Well, this one looks a lot darker than the other two.
It sure does, and I hope it is, because it's supposed to be the last one.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm actually be in LA seeing this one.
Cool.
I'll be down there.
Ooh,
Be like
special.
pay $25.
Are you like hinting around the fact that you got Robert Downey Jr.'s digits? You're going to be at a premiere or something? Or
No,
what?
no. I'm going on vacation with my wife, and she says we're not waiting to get back to see that movie. So.
Aw, that's cool.
Aw,
that's a
that's
cute
sweet.
story.
She's more excited to see it than I am, believe it or not.
No, we believe
No,
it.
that's believable.
Yeah. Nobody's
It's
doubting it.
totally believable.
We totally get that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's probably seen more movies than you, like this week.
All right, guys.
Well, hey, real
Maester-
quick, did you hear about... Shut the fuck... Hey.
Hey,
Let's
who's
not-
fucking his dog?
Yeah, exactly. Did you hear about AMC? I mean, that's why tickets aren't on sale right now, is that AMC... Disney went to AMC right before Iron Man 3 was supposed to release for ticket sales, and they're demanding a new deal.
We'll have to go to Chick-fil-A to get tickets to this.
I think so. They're using Iron Man to leverage a better percentage deal for their films. So AMC, well, they might have it by the time you listen to this, but as of right now, as of the recording of this, AMC still doesn't have a deal with Disney, so you can't actually buy tickets yet. Iron Man is not set to be in AMC theaters.
I'm going to be seeing it at Cinemark, so I don't give a shit.
Well, all right. Well, we only have that option forever.
This must suck to be you.
It sure does.
Damn, even I've got Georgia Theater Company in the house. So.
Oh, I can drive, but I don't want to drive. Fuck. I was going to walk to the theater.
May 3rd, The
Take two.
Iceman, Iron Man 3. Which of these two films are you guys most likely going to be seeing in the theater? Scotty?
Iron Man 3.
Brian?
Yeah, Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3. It's a sweep.
Yeah, let's make it a sweep. Iron Man 3 it is. We will be bringing you a review the following week.
Real quick before we move on, what do you guys want to see the most? If this is the last Iron Man movie, what do you hope happens? Do you want any characters to die? Do you want what kind of resolution? Anything?
No, I don't think it needs a resolution as far as any of the heroes. I think maybe if anything, you set up the fact that maybe Iron Man steps aside for a little bit for whatever reasons, personal, political, you name it. You've got Rhodey who's bringing on the suits, so maybe he kind of takes the reins and carries that Avengers banner, going forward with Avengers 2 and beyond. So I don't think anybody necessarily has to die, but maybe, just whatever. Maybe he just needs to step aside. Maybe for whatever reason, health concerns. Maybe that big thing in his chest is.
Haven't they beat that device into the ground? I don't really want to hear any more about his chest.
Thank you. I feel the exact same way. I'm kind of done with that. I feel like he's smart enough to kind of just sort it out, and I take for granted that he's got it fixed.
Well, here's the thing: no matter what you do, you can't kill off the quote technology, right? Even if you kill off characters, someone still has how to do all that.
The one, and I know we're going back to it, but the one thing I really want to see in a final film or a third film, or it's not really a trilogy. Iron Man's kind of like they're separate films, but what I really would love to see is them to just do something really drastic to really motivate like a superhero for once, instead of taking the sissy way out, like Spider-Man kill Mary Jane. Here maybe take Pepper Potts out or Rhodey, one of those two.
Hey, look, there's in the trailer, she's there in a sports bra being exploded, so she may die.
I don't know. I think they would try to keep that more surprise heavy if that were the case, but just something like that I think would be nice to see and refreshing, and it would really make a superhero film feel original again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just.
I don't think you're going to really see anything much in this theater or this movie because you still got Avengers 2 to do, which is going to need Iron Man or Tony Stark in the suit so far as we know. Now, I could definitely see something happening to perhaps Tony or Pepper Potts in that second film because Joss Whedon's already said people are going to get fucked up in Avengers 2. So I could see either one of them dying, both of them dying, somebody getting hurt really badly. But in this third film, I think it'll probably end with all of our good guys surviving the end of it.
Fair enough. Well, you can always hear us on iTunes, Zune, Google Reader while it's still there. It goes away in July, so make sure you find a new podcast app. Your Stitcher Radio app, if you use it, give us a thumbs up, and any old RSS feed, as well as RockfordCollegeRadio.com Thursdays from 4 to 6.
What's this movie?
What's this movie? Each week we play ours or a listener-suggested clip from a movie. And if you think you know what the clip is, you email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com or send us a direct message on Twitter at @H_outsider, and we'll announce those that got it correct in the air and give you a proper ho shout-out. Last week's answer was Brian's pick, and it was Slapshot. People that got it... Wow, that was a whip.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
That was Django.
Thinking about Friday night. My bad.
Greg S. and Mr. Anyone, congratulations. You guys are the only ones that saw Slapshot.
Now, you still haven't seen it, have you?
No, I have not. All
right, I'm sending you the movie.
Thanks.
It's on Netflix Instant.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. This week it's Justin's turn. So if you think you know what this is, email us and we'll give you a shout out next week. Here's your clip.
You've given me yourself. Calm. Good. Entirely without incident. No.
Oh. Shit.
Not without incident.
All right, now let's go to the couch. We're talking about TV and home video news. Futurama, that show that was canceled once, has now been canceled again. Comedy Central is putting it down on September 4th. I didn't even know it was still on.
Who really cares?
Apparently.
I mean, there's a small group of people that are passionate about this show, and they successfully got the show back on TV. Well, you've had your chance, and you blew it. So it didn't catch for the second time. Therefore, it's a bad show.
I don't know why. Well, I'm sure it was a good show for whatever reason, but I don't. People compare it to Family Guy, and at least I can understand the appeal of Family Guy. Futurama there was like the first couple seasons were funny, and then it just did.
I literally did not know that
it was still on.
I thought it was just reruns on Comedy Central. I did not know I was watching new episodes.
I hated The Simpsons. I don't like Futurama. I tried multiple times. Matt Groening, I just don't like what he does there. And Futurama, or Family Guy owns the shit out of Futurama.
I would agree with that.
Well, and
I don't even watch Family Guy, and I think that's true.
Plus, the thing about The Simpsons, you can kind of watch an episode independent, even if you haven't been watching like all 11 seasons that it's into now.
The Simpsons?
The Simpsons is like a
20
2 decades, sir.
220.
It's 2 decades.
No, it's over 20. Yeah.
20. So, but with Futurama, if you haven't watched it from the beginning, it makes no sense. Like, I don't know. Shows like that.
Goodbye. R.I.P. Futurama. R.I.P. TV producer, this is something that'll appeal to Scott. Mark Burnett is recutting ratings juggernaut The Bible, the miniseries, the big long miniseries on the History Channel. That always makes some people laugh. Into a 3-hour film for theaters.
What's funny about this is people kind of roll their eyes at the thought of a lot of people watching this series. Why? It's the Bible.
Yeah.
Christianity is like one of the larger religions in the world. Why would people not want to see stories that they've been reading since
I don't think it's one of. I think it is the largest.
Oh, no, it's not.
No, I think
Hinduism is much bigger.
Islam is
Islam and Hinduism.
the biggest.
Oh, well, then we're going to lose. Shit.
Yeah, like I know or
It's more
care.
popular, though.
Yeah. They get more miniseries made. That's all I know.
I'm not surprised it's doing well. I'm surprised that it's being cut into a 3-hour film, though.
Yeah,
this
because
doesn't
wasn't
make
it like
any
10 2-hour movies or something, or 5 10-hour 2-hour movies? I don't know how many movies there were.
I mean,
but
if you love this series, you're going to watch the whole thing, not the Cliff Notes, right? I mean, is this just to get more money out of it?
If you like that much, you're going to buy the DVDs or Blu-rays, whatever. You're not going to. I mean, I don't know.
I heard the book's better. That's all I know.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
At least more for the imagination.
I mean, do they think they're going to draw in a bigger audience to this by making it into a movie?
Sometimes, yeah, they'll get people to draw. They'll probably make more money because they don't. It won't cost them anything. But a lot of the religious zealots will go. Not zealots, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people that want to see it.
You're
in the
right.
theater,
You're right.
Stop. A lot of the people that want to see it in the theater will rush out and go to the theater and grab their church friends, go after Sunday Mass or Sunday service, and check it out. It just seems like a really sped up version. I mean, what do they just like jump right into Revelations? I don't know how that works out.
I don't know.
And that ending's a downer. I'm just letting you know. Nothing good happens.
How much of Jesus' whipping do they have to take out?
They cut it down to like it's a montage now.
Is there a Song of Solomon version? Or? Montage?
Yep. He's the best around.
What, with a hammer coming down on one of the spikes?
Oh, wow. We're going.
Lifting him up.
Please, I hope my family's not listening to that.
Twins are going to hell.
I'm already going to hell. Justin's not going anywhere. Coincidentally, Fox News topped the cable news ratings for the first time since 2005. Justin, is the Bible winning?
I don't know. Given the events, and the
He hates them so
sad
much he
events
can't even fathom a thought.
of earlier this week. Yeah, I used to when I actually was gainfully employed. My last job was as a network monitor, and some people call it the Bat Cave or the Fishbowl. But one of the things about it is that we always had a constant news feed up on one of our screens. And it was usually CNN, depending on who worked that night. Maybe it was on Fox. But it was constantly the news. And anytime something big happened, it took no time at all before I couldn't shut it off fast enough, because it was nothing but a 24/7 droning of these people scrambling to say whatever they could. What happened with last week, I was so thankful that I didn't have to face that kind of news onslaught. It's ridiculous. And Fox, I can hate for all the reasons that are obvious to hate Fox, whether it's their obvious bias, their straight out lying. But fuck, is there anything called news integrity anymore? There is not a channel out there that isn't biased in some way or the other. Mm-hmm. It's just right now it's Fox's week. I'm sure something will happen a month from now, and MSNBC or whoever is going to come up and edge them out. It's this constant swinging back and forth. CNN surely didn't help themselves with their faux pas and announcing news that was in no way accurate, and I'm sure a lot of people turned them off because of it. But no, it's not the Bible winning. If anything, it's the vileness of Fox's lying that you could say is winning, but they all lie. I don't listen to any of them.
No, it's all commentary now. Every time
PBS for life.
Yep. What'd you say?
PBS for life.
PBS. NPR. Do you want
That's
NPR?
right. National Public.
Because if you really want to fall asleep while you're watching the news or listening to the news, NPR is your guy. Did you see that? Sometimes we talk about new shows or things that have hit. Hemlock Grove is the new Netflix series, where they dump all 13 episodes at once onto Netflix and you can stream them. And we checked it out. I don't know how many you finally got through, Justin. I've pretty much barreled through the series. What do you think of it from what you saw?
I'm about 5 or 6 episodes in, so I'm about halfway through it. Mm-hmm. I'm liking it more than I thought I would after the first episode, because the first episode left me a little bit cold. It has a very strange pacing and feel to it, and it's not something that I think could ever work on a network channel, even given the cursing and the nudity and the blood. Just the pacing itself and the way it tells its story is so odd. I don't think it could have really fit anywhere else, but there's something about it that is incredibly compelling.
How would you explain what it's about? Like, quickly, how did you explain? Because I tried to figure out a good way to explain it, and I was like,
It's kind of a middle ground between. It's like if Buffy met Werewolf in London. Mm-hmm. It has a little bit of that CW feel, in that the characters several of them are, 18-ish years old. Some of it takes place in a high school. And so it has a little bit of that, but it's got a lot of Twin Peaks in it too. That strangeness of the town, the strangeness of some of the people who live in it, but it's mostly seems to focus in on a family of gypsies who have moved into Hemlock Grove, a small town in Pennsylvania, and right around that same time, a girl is murdered savagely by what looks like to be an animal. Another girl is murdered not long after. Of course, them being outsiders and gypsies are looked at with suspicion, but the town has also got other people that they keep their eyes on, who are the Godfreys, the rich family in town, who also just happen to have a monolithic building in the center of this small town where they do some strange research. Mm-hmm. And the eldest son in that family, who does he give you a little bit of an Anthony Michael Hall vibe?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, every time I see him, his name is Skarsgård. I'm kind of curious if he's related to the
He is.
other. Yep. Oh, he is? Mm-hmm. Okay. He's certainly got the height for it. That fucker's tall.
Well, Stellan has got 10 kids, so chances are he's bound to be one of them, just pure math.
By luck.
But he's an odd one. The gypsy kid is. They're all odd, just in their own distinct ways. But it's really I would say it's Buffy meets Twin Peaks. Mm-hmm. With werewolves thrown into it. And I like it, but I don't quite know why I like it.
And I will tell you, the werewolf transformation, which I won't say who or when it happens.
Woo, it's bloody.
That is bloody, and it's probably one of the better ones I've seen on film, honestly.
Yeah. It's definitely a unique take on it that I've not seen in a movie or a TV show. And
it was hard. I've had several people ask me, do you like it? And part of me says no, and part of me says absolutely. So yeah. It's somewhere in that middle ground where I don't know why I continue to watch it, because sometimes the acting is great, sometimes the acting is fucking awful.
Yeah.
Sometimes the story is great, and sometimes the story makes no sense. They're all over the place. I mean, there's a little bit of Dr. Frankenstein in here. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of demonism. I mean, there's all kinds of shit in here. Famke Janssen's accent just throws me off.
Oh, that's terrible.
Every time she talks, if that's her natural voice, no wonder she speaks American all the time, because her accent is awful. Every time
I think this is this has to be a fake accent.
It's awful. Just one of the worst I've ever heard. Like, what? Every time she talks, even though I think she's the best actor in the show, she doesn't come across that way. You know what I mean?
I like the Gypsy Kid. He's probably my favorite.
Yeah, he's definitely growing on me. I really don't like Skarsgård. I think, he hits for every chance he hits, he does another line that's awful.
Yeah.
It's like I can't tell if he's going to be good 1 minute to the next. And the girl Letha, the girl that plays Letha, who's the cousin, I love her. She's like she thinks she's an angel or something. She's great. So,
but I think it's that strangeness of great acting one moment, odd the next. That kind of works because these people do seem so conflicted and, two-faced. They're this way to one person, they're different to another. And that kind of, even though it's weird, it works in a weird way. I like it, but I don't know why. I will finish it.
Same here. And I will kind of recommend it. I think people should try it. If you finish the second episode, and if you're into it, keep watching it. If you're not, stop. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
that should give you a good enough feel. But make sure you finish the second episode. Brian, you and I saw Zombieland. Why don't you tell people what that's about in case they've never seen the movie that is based on? The pilot Amazon Prime is trying to launch.
All right. The movie is basically about 4 survivors who team together and survive the zombie apocalypse. They travel across some portion of the states and end up in Los Angeles. Well, the pilot for the series on Amazon picks up 3 or 4 months after that, 2 or 3 months after that. So it's the same characters played by different people. And I will say that the acting lacks a little bit.
That's
to
an
put it very
understatement, I would say.
Nicely.
Yeah.
It sucks. I was horribly. I'll tell you what. The one thing I'll start this on a positive note. The one thing I did like was the opening scene.
The opening's very funny. Yeah,
it's very funny. Mm-hmm. That first 5 minutes or so of the show is great. Stop it after that.
Mm-hmm. Just turn off the TV.
Yeah,
just stop it because it's shit.
They should have come up with new characters.
Yeah, I agree. Tie it in some way, but really should have just had your own people. I don't even know if good actors would have saved this. The writing was just predictable. Jokes were predictable. I really didn't like much of this at all. What'd you think? Because am I alone on this or what?
No, and just to explain for people that don't know, Amazon Prime has many pilots that they've launched on their page. You can go watch it right now; it's free. And the ones that get the most votes, which I'm thinking Zombieland probably will, just because people know the property. The ones that get the most votes will be turned into a series. This is one of them. We're not going to go through all of them because there's like 14 or 15. We don't care. But Zombieland, we thought, there's a chance. It might be good. It wasn't. It's not good. When you've got somebody, Woody Harrelson played Tallahassee perfect. To recast him or to have that character and not have Woody Harrelson, fuck that. Just does not work. The guy doesn't work. The whole time you're watching it, all you're doing is comparing it. So,
Sadly, that's what I hear across the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, if this was like, okay, we'll put these people in here just so that studios will get an idea of what we're going for here, I can kind of see it. And that's why I'm kind of on a couple of it, because I've checked out a few of these pilots, and that's kind of the approach I took with it. Well, maybe this isn't what it will exactly be like once they get the green light to go with it. Maybe these people will not be in this show. Maybe they're there to just kind of sell it, and then once it's approved, then we'll get some better quality people and writers in here. But if that's what they got to go on, this show is fucked.
I would agree. And you saw Dark Minions. Was that any good? That was the other one of the other pilots.
It's like on a 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long, something like that. It's the basic plot is think about a couple of stormtroopers working on the Death Star. And it kind of follows their personal lives. One guy is divorced and basically just needed a job to pay alimony. The other one's kind of an overweight stoner, and so of course they happen into some stuff. It's created by John Ross Bowie and Kevin Sussman, who are side characters in Big Bang Theory. Kevin Sussman is the comic book shop owner.
Oh, nice.
And John Ross Bowie is he's the nemesis for Sheldon, the guy that's got the list.
Kripke.
Bowie Kripke.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice job, Scott.
Kripke. So it's created by those guys. It's obviously a work in progress because it goes from it's going to be one of those stop motion animation type, almost claymation type cartoons.
Like
but what
Robot
they do, I really didn't watch too much of that, but but it's also kind of cut in there with just still scenes, just frame shots of the most, just kind of, you'll see a guy walk into a room, then all of a sudden he's standing at a bar. It's just a drawing of somebody standing there talking to a barmaid or something like that. So
recommend or don't recommend?
I would recommend this one. I was much more pleased with this one than Zombieland. Of course, I had no expectations going into this versus Zombieland, but pleasantly surprised. Again, you're only wasting about 20 minutes of your life, so check it out.
It's free. And I had very low expectations for Zombieland, and it still did worse than I thought. So, and some of our listeners weighed in on Hemlock Grove, Junebug on Twitter, said, too distracted by Famka's accent to think about much else. Interesting enough to watch the next episode. David B. said, I'm unsure as well, but I'm interested in watching the second episode. Linton B. I saw the first 4. Meh is all I can say for it. It's definitely not for everybody. Andrew R. 5 episodes in and I can't decide. It's keeping my attention and a lot of the acting is solid, but so much of it is bugging me. It's nothing amazing but entertaining when you got nothing else to watch. That's a good way to put it. And Andrew R. also said he saw Zombieland and the pilot is a heaping pile of garbage. Now let's go to DVD and Blu-ray, Scotty.
All right, we're looking at April 30th. First up is Silver Linings Playbook. This was nominated by the Academy for Best Film last year and stars Bradley Cooper as a former teacher who recently spent time in a mental institution and now lives with his parents as he tries to patch things up with his ex-wife. He meets Jennifer Lawrence's character, who also suffers from mental illness, and the pair make an interesting friendship. Aaron and I both reviewed that on episode 77. Aaron gave it a 950 and I gave it an 850.
Loved it.
Very good movie. Highly recommend it. Next up, Guilt Trip. As inventor Andy Brewster is about to embark on the road trip of a lifetime, a quick stop at his mom's house turns into an unexpected cross-country voyage with her along for the ride. Who doesn't want to see a buddy road trip comedy with Seth Rogen and Barbra Streisand?
I want to see the one with Scott and his mom because he's got so many issues. Yeah. That would be fun.
Broken City. In a city rife with injustice, ex-cop Billy Taggart, played by Mark Wahlberg, seeks redemption and revenge after being double-crossed and then framed by its most powerful figure, Mayor Nicholas Hostetler, played by Russell Crowe. Aaron's the only one that checked that one out. You can also hear that review on episode 77, where he gave it his $6. Mm-hmm. Next up, Not Fade Away. This is set in suburban New Jersey during the 1960s, where a group of friends form a rock band and try to make it big. That's a really original story. Mm-hmm. Finally, The Details. When a family of raccoons discover worms living underneath the sod in Jeff and Neely's backyard, this pest problem begins a darkly comic and wild chain reaction of domestic tension, infidelity, and murder. I kind of want to see that just to see what worms has to do with infidelity or causes infidelity. But
I can give you an idea.
I can tell you.
I don't know.
Next up, we've got our Recasting the Classics segment. Justin, you want to give us a quick rundown?
Sure. Recasting the Classics is where one of us hosts offers a classic film to another and then asks them to recast 4 of its leading roles. You can recast them with actors who are similar to, or you can go as far afield as you like. You just have to explain your reasoning. Last time, Aaron gave to Scotty Terminator 2 Judgment Day and asked him to recast the role of the Terminator, Sarah Connor, John Connor, and the T-1000. So, Scotty, won't you, just shatter us with your mind-bending, brilliantly recastings of this?
Okay. Yeah. Terminator was an easy one for me. Needed a big guy that I want to see in more movies, and that's Jason Momoa.
Hey, I'll give you that one.
I like that. Sarah Connor. I'd like to see Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank?
Yeah.
Hey, 2-time Oscar winner, Hilary Swank?
Yeah, why not? $1 Million Baby.
Yeah, she's got that lean.
That's not bad. My reaction at first is what, and then
She's free.
Yeah. John Connor was a hard one because John Connor was a teenager in Terminator 2.
Let me preface this with whoever you pick is better than Edward Furlong. I promise you.
You cannot do worse.
Even Zac Efron works here.
Did you guess Michael Cera?
I thought about that one. I'm like, nope, Brian already used Zac Efron. So
Michael Cera, that's awesome.
Fuck you.
Hey, I was in your corner with Zac Efron, Brian. It's hard to find a really well-known kid actor, but the one I picked is a guy named Zachary Gordon. He was in those Diary for a Wimpy Kid films, which are goofy, and I think
I haven't seen them. Yeah. I'm an adult. Yeah,
no, I know. I teach children. Anyway, those movies are very silly, and I think he's starting to.
What does that
come
mean?
into
Do
his
you
age a
watch
little bit.
Diary of the Wimpy Kid in the classroom?
Yes.
Did you say you teach children or you touch children? I'm just saying.
Really, Aaron,
For the-
really, you laughed at.
For the record,
I almost lost my shit. Oh, sorry.
Anyway, Zachary Gordon has been playing kids' movies. He's got a little bit sweetness to him, but he's about 15 or 16 now, and he's starting to get a little bit of edge to his look, and I think he could pull it off. Lastly, the T-1000, which was originally played by Robert Patrick in T2. This is a little difficult too, but I finally ended up with Crispin Glover. He's a little older, but
he looks the same.
he looks just about the same age as he did back in the day, and I think he can do that menacing stare that Robert Patrick pulled off, because Robert Patrick can't anymore.
Crispin Glover? But he has no physical kind of intimidation. At least Robert Patrick was a little tall and somewhat.
Did you
I mean,
see
he wasn't
Willard?
no Arnold, but he was certainly. I actually, if he were to pull me over, I'd have been like, "Oh shit, what?"
I don't know.
Crispin Glover's just kind of nutty looking.
If you saw him in Willard, I see what Scott's referencing, because he is an eerie son of a bitch in that. He carries some depth in that.
yeah, but if he's stomping up in my rearview mirror, I'm not scared. I'm just kind of like, dude, you better back the fuck off.
You've got too much George McFly resonating there, as I think a lot of it, and he played up that character. Look at him in,
Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, he was actually good in Charlie's Angels. He was a good bad guy.
Now, Justin Theroux, who was also in
Lord
Charlie's
have
Angels,
mercy.
or the second one,
Lord have mercy.
I would see him.
I like Justin Theroux. He's good.
I'm with you, Scotty. I'm with you. And I especially want to see him do that funky dance that he did in Friday the 13th, Part 4. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, that dance is awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go with your Hillary Swank. You did good.
All right.
Yeah, I'd say overall, good choices.
Wow, look at that.
I'm
All
not
right.
giving the Terminator though to The Rock.
Terminator: The Rock.
Guess we need him in every fucking movie
That
now.
seemed
We
a little
need him
too
in
on the
every
nose.
action movie. Yes.
I want to see more Jason Momoa. So,
Channing Tatum.
There
all right,
you go.
it's my turn to pass it off to Brian this week, and Brian, I'm going to give you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to give you Highlander.
Oh, no.
You're gonna recast.
There can only be one.
You're gonna recast Connor McLeod. You're gonna recast the Kurgan. You're gonna recast, which I didn't know his name was this long, but Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez, Sean Connery's character.
Sean Connery.
Okay.
All right.
And then the female character played Brenda Wyatt, she was a forensics officer that researched Connor. She was played by Roxanne Hart. So those four.
Oh, damn.
Wow. All right, come back in for 2 weeks for that, Brian. You got time to think about it. I'm sure you'll do it right before the show.
Don't need it. Yep, I'm sure I'll wait for day 13 and 22 hours.
Oh, that's my
That's
boy.
a movie I wouldn't mind seeing redone.
That's why I picked it. We've talked about that in the show.
Yeah, we
actually,
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
The tricky part is because even though he's not so much a great actor, but his voice really gave something extra for that character.
Clancy Brown or
I'm sorry.
Christopher Lambert.
Christopher Lambert.
Christopher Lambert's voice. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to our From the Outside In topic. This week, we've got a long show. We got a lot of feedback later, so we're trying to get through it. Our topic this week, our most memorable film or TV jump the shark moments. We've talked about, endings that made us go, what the fuck? We're talking about that moment where you're completely into a movie or series, and then it just takes a turn and loses you forever. Who wants to go first? Justin? I know you got like 40 of them.
Well, if we're talking about a single movie, my obvious choice of what the fuck, I have to beat this dead horse again. The fucking Mist. That piece of shit ending, that ruined everything. But if we're talking about a series, one that and this was actually one of my first moments as a young lad growing up watching films and going, what the fuck? And we just mentioned the first one, Highlander 2, The Quickening. Fucking terrible. Took everything the first movie did, shit on it, pissed on it, and then threw it out on the highway to get run over. Terrible. Terrible. Ugh.
One of my favorite moments that ruined the series for me, Transformers 2, because I love the first Transformers. When the ghetto robots show up in Transformers 2, I'm done. I can't fucking watch that movie past that point. It makes me want to throw shit at my television. It's just so ridiculously and how they didn't get stormed by African Americans, rappers, whoever. Everybody should be insulted by that shit. It was awful, 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 awful.
Not the robot testicles. It was the
I could get past that. The rapping, the ghetto robots and the stereotype robots. I can't get past that.
Kind of go back to the TV stuff. One of my favorite shows in the '90s was ER. And there was a guy. He was a doctor on there. Short, bald-headed fella. I can't even remember his name.
Anthony Edwards?
No. He was a tall, bald-headed fella.
They're different.
No, but it was he wasn't. That was Dr. Green that you're referring to. It was another doctor. I can't remember his name again, but he had his arm cut off, and then over the course of the next year, he has it put on, and then he loses movement in his arm, in his motor skills. So he just figures it's better just to have it amputated. Then shortly thereafter that, he just dies because a helicopter crashes on top of him. And it was just like, okay, we're running out of whatever to do with this show. So it just felt, by the time that they killed him off, it was just kind of one of those things where we just don't have anything left. We don't even know where to go with this show anymore. So that's one of mine.
I'd say it would probably, for me, would be the first episode of the second season of Heroes.
Oh, fucker, you just stole mine.
With Siler not dying?
Yeah.
That's one of my fucking retarded. Biggest cop-out ever.
Like, it's like the writers said we had such a solid first season of that show. It was so good, entertaining from first episode to last episode. And then the episode opens and Siler's alive, and the brother is out in Norway or Iceland or whatever, and he's lost his memory, and like they just they're just trying to give themselves all these avenues, and they're not.
I lost my powers, but I'll get them back. Don't worry.
I love that first season so much, and I just lost complete. And it was one of those that I was trying to let it reel me back in because I kept watching it. I never made it to the third season. I just gave up. It was.
I did too. I loved the first season. I thought it was fantastic, man.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Siler living. What bothered me the most is that they went back to the exact same kind of menace that they had in the first season, that averting a global disaster. Some kind of nuclear weapon going off. They had it in the first season, and then they did it again in the second. That's boring. We've seen it. Let's do something different.
Do something. Go ahead.
I will say, though, that the third season kind of picked it up a little bit, and I actually thought the fourth season was pretty strong. Unfortunately, everybody else had stopped watching it by then, so it really didn't matter. But that first season was, oh my God, fantastic.
It was one of the best seasons of television I've ever experienced.
Every time my wife and I would watch it, we were like, "What?"
But see, then they started good stupid shit like the twin, or what was it, Ellie Larder? She's like 18 people.
What was it? They had like ink or something coming out of their eyes or something.
Oh my God, just all kinds of stupid shit. And they had the one love triangle. What was it? When Sylar and Kristen Bell, they were started to fall in love, and then he just like snaps and kills her. It's just out of nowhere. It was fucking retarded.
And all the stuff that I was super interested in, they just seemed to stray away from. In the first season, when you found Future Hero, like on the train.
And somebody yelled, "Spoiler alert!" The show's been off the air for plenty of years.
Right. No, that's not even like that's like halfway through the season. It wasn't like he's on the train and he's talking to himself. And did they ever come back to that in the later seasons?
Who cares,
Justin?
It's been so long, I don't remember.
That was a bummer for me.
What about you, Justin? You got another one since he took yours?
Well, I would have to say, season 6 after Mulder left the X-Files.
Season 7. I hate to correct you.
Season 7. It just kind of jumped, and unfortunately, it what's the show going to do? They wanted to keep going. The main guy didn't want to do it, so they just had to scramble. But the show did lose a lot of its heart, and unfortunately, it took a show that was one of my favorites and took it down a couple pegs. But I still have a little bit of love for it.
When the star of your series, the one the entire series is based on, wants to leave, it's time to end the series. That's what the rules should be.
Gillian Anderson, her due. A lot of people liked her a lot.
I loved her, but they basically relegated her to a background role from that point forward. I mean, when wasn't she pregnant or something? Well, not for
some
2
of it,
years,
and that's why they had to kind of limit her.
That's the long fucking pregnancy, man. They just stuck her in the background.
But as far as films go, Transporter 2 completely fucked over the first one's greatness, and X-Men United, just such a terrible ending to those first two films.
Did anybody here a fan of Terminator Salvation? Please say no.
It was okay.
The show? Oh,
No,
the movie?
no, the movie. Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
There's a scene where Christian Bale gives one of the worst speeches I've ever seen on film, where he's explaining, he talks about his mom, and he's John Connor, and I'm pretty sure he says John Connor 47 times, like he does throughout the entire movie. But he pleads with them to not bomb Skynet. And while he's giving that speech, when I saw the movie, because I'm like, oh, it's not horrible. And then he starts giving the speech, I'm like, fuck this movie. And he's a good actor. He really is a good actor. He did not act good in that movie. It was so overly ridiculous. I actually like whatever the robot guys. What was his name? Clash of the Titans.
Oh, Avatar Boy.
Yeah, we'll just call him Avatar Boy. I can go with that. His role was really good, but Christian Bale, he lost me as soon as he did that speech. Done.
Going back to shows, one for me was The Office. When Pam and Jim
Episode
got
4.
married. No, I actually liked the first couple seasons of that, and then the whole love thing with Pam and Jim was really good, but after the wedding, it just got silly, and then they lost Steve Carell, and they tried bringing.
It's been in a death spiral ever since.
It has.
James Spader.
I got one for you. The last episode of season 1 of The Killing.
Oh yeah. Somebody should have
When
been
they
killed for that shit.
Yeah. When they decided, you know what, we're not going to tell you who killed Rosie Larson.
That was. I didn't even watch this episode of season 2. I was like,
Sons
screw it.
of bitches.
Yeah.
Sons of bitches. Mm-hmm. We can all mention like Maddie and David banging on Moonlighting, but that's kind of old. So I don't even know how many people know that.
But for all of these things, you get those rare instances of something jumping back over the shark into being good. Fast 5. Yeah, who would have thought after a week, kind of 2, and then 3 and 4, that suddenly that franchise would come back stronger than ever? That rarely happens.
What about you guys? You got a favorite where a moment saved a movie or a franchise even?
I hate to keep bringing up sitcoms, but I love How I Met Your Mother, and that show almost lost me when they went the route where Barney decided he was going to start falling in love with one of the other characters, and not being the womanizer.
Robin Sparkles?
Yes, Robin Sparkles. When it started going off this tangent where he was the sappy, fall in love guy, it just lost it for me. And then like 4 episodes later, he was back. And granted, that show is starting to get like, come on, wrap it up.
Starting?
Yeah.
It's been like 8 or 9 years. They still don't know who the fucking mother is.
Yeah.
That show's done.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
It's still fun to watch, but they need to quit. I can't even say quit while they're ahead anymore, but they need to quit. They really do.
I'll tell you a movie that everybody loves, but when I first saw it, I honestly wasn't sure how I felt about it. And Boondock Saints. Maybe it was my mood that day, or just because the first time I saw it, it was so low budget. I'm like, what are people talking about? I don't get it. But the second they accidentally shot that fucking cat, my switch flipped to on.
Can you believe that just happened?
Suddenly, I'm like, I'm in. This movie's perfect. I don't care what happens from this point forward. You just shot a fucking cat. This is perfect. Pristine. Brian, you got any?
It's a sequel. It's actually what I think the 4th one in the series. Not that the first 3 were bad, but it just seemed to finally kind of refresh it a little bit and make it fun again. And that was the Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
I just the 3rd one, they just kind of felt cookie cutter in a way. They just kind of felt like they were just rehashing the same stuff, but maybe it was the magic of Jeremy Renner. I don't know. It was just that movie a couple years ago was just, it was just kind of was like, wow, this is awesome, and this was fun again, and this is like a great Tom Cruise. I hate to bring him up again, but a great Tom Cruise action movie.
I got a movie one too. Bear with me when I say the title. It's a movie that I went into it not knowing anything about it when I watched it, and that's From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, man, that's good.
That movie started out being a completely different movie than what it ended up being, and I didn't know that going in.
Oh, you
I was
didn't.
just told go
That
see
movie
From Dusk
changes
Till
like
Dawn.
3 times.
Exactly. So like I go in and it seems like this run of the mill movie, and then when it hits that mark, you know what I'm talking about, and just the movie just
Goes balls out.
it really lost me for a few minutes. I was like, what? Come on. And then
I can actually see you doing that. Go, what's going on, Mom?
once I got over
scared.
that initial shock
Is
of
this why I'm not allowed to watch movies?
once I got over that initial shock of the complete paradigm shift of what
It's
the
okay
movie
to say it.
was.
Everybody knows now.
Okay.
When they
Right.
switch to the vampires.
Yes. It reeled me back in, and I realized this is a pretty kick-ass movie, and I enjoyed it from that point on. But that was a complete culture shock if you didn't know what to expect.
You should have been into it as soon as you saw Salma Hayek take the stage with a snake. That's all I'm
You
saying.
could have heard a pin drop in the theater I was in when that scene started.
Every guy in that theater was quiet, and every woman
Yeah.
was sad that she didn't look like that.
All you hear is like denim stretching.
Wow.
Let's move on.
We had a message from Ashley. She wanted to reference one. The movie I would pick is Bug with Michael Shannon. She put it on our Facebook wall. And Ashley Judd, if anybody saw that, you'd know exactly what she's talking about. She was into it until the very end. When the credits rolled, I was filled with immediate rage. Actually asked for my money back. Still holds the title as the worst movie I've ever seen. Anybody else ever seen Bug?
No.
It's like
No.
when people are stuck at a hotel and they start losing their minds, and or thinking that there's an alien or a bug infestation. It's if you like Michael Shannon,
Yeah.
if you want to watch something and get fucking pissed and want to throw shit through the wall at the end,
Oh, every
that's the
day.
movie for you. That's the movie for you because
Well,
she's
why
not.
not?
No, at the very end. I mean, it actually is a pretty intense movie until the very end, and you just want to punch somebody because it's so stupid, just stupid.
And it ruins the whole movie.
It totally destroys it. Awful. Now let's go to emails. We got some fun emails to go through. By the way, Mark T sent us links to one of his favorite bad movies, Love Stinks. They had what's that dude from Third Rock from the Sun? French Stewart.
Yeah.
I actually watched the clip that he put up there. Oh god, that's so funny. It looks really bad, but it looks so funny.
It's a pretty dumb movie.
And he also sent a clip from Roadhouse 2 to illustrate somebody bastardized us with a sequel. I didn't even know there was Roadhouse 2. Shame on them. And Reese B put up a link for some dual movies like Armageddon and Deep Impact, and it matches a bunch of them. It's pretty funny. You can go on our whole Facebook wall for that. Now for emails. I'm not sure, this is from Greg S. It says, I'm not sure if you take requests on this section of your show or not. However, I'd love to hear a recasting the classics of a contemporary classic, The Walking Dead. They have a pretty solid cast, so I'm interested in who the hoes think could fill their shoes. Well, we do take requests on it, but the rules are it has to be a minimum of 20 years old. Justin's very particular about this. It's his topic, and he's like, damn it, 20 years old. He's actually matched the dates for us. But since you snuck this one into the cat door, we're going to humor you with our fantastically remade Walking Dead. Each of us get to recast one character with the exception of Daryl because you don't fucking recast Daryl Dixon. So, Justin, recast Rick, and then we're going to continue. Justin, who would you pick for Rick?
You want me to recast the very star of the show?
Hell yeah.
If I was going to recast Rick, the only actor that I think could pull off that role any better, I'd have to go with like a Timothy Oliphant.
Ooh, I like
He's
it.
just got Lawman written all over him.
He's a lawbreaker. Scott, for Glenn, you get Glenn.
Oh man, Glenn is so hard because
Kim Jong.
he's so perfect. He looks just like the character from the comic. Like he really does. I went with Aaron Yu. You would probably remember him from Disturbia. He played his buddy.
Yep. Yeah, I like him.
Best I could come up with. He's a little goofy in that movie, but I could see him pulling it off.
Brian got the governor.
Because I actually had Timothy Oliphant for the governor.
Oh shit, bro.
Just because, mainly
He
because
plays both roles.
Towards the second half of the season, he started wearing that trench coat and stuff, and I was like, man, you can't pull that off as good as Timothy Oliphant. So that kind of stuck with me. Oh man, so I'm scrambling here.
I think you play it, and then you do like a dual identity thing. He's constantly at battle with himself. Bam.
Yeah.
No? All right. That was worth a shot. I was trying to save you. I'm sorry you chose poorly.
No, but no, I appreciate the effort. I'm just okay. How about Clive Owen?
All right.
All right, yeah.
Not as good as Timothy Oliphant, but
I know.
That's not bad. If he could pull off an American accent.
Yeah,
then I
he's
can
done it
see
once
that.
or twice. The guy that's playing the governor pulls off an American accent.
Oh, is he a fucking Brit too?
Dude, like 90% of the cast is Brits
No
and Australian
shit.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's literally, I mean, it's...
Rick, Maggie, the governor? God damn.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. I think the only one that I've seen that's not is Daryl and Andrea that I've paid attention to anyway.
And I got Michonne. That was mine. I picked Whoopi Goldberg. Just kidding. I picked Sanaa Lathan. She was in Love and Basketball, and she was actually Wesley Snipes' mom in Blade. That's maybe where.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
Okay.
She's a good actress. She's been in a lot of quality stuff. If you saw Love and Basketball, she can handle dramatic
Yeah, she's good.
and action. So
That's a Tyler Perry movie.
that's her cast. So no more of those though. Got to be 20 years old. We'll do it. 20 years old though.
All right. We humored you this time. Don't let it happen again.
That's right. Justin.
All right, first one up is Tammy, from Tammy. She says, "Hey hoes, if you knew me, you'd be shocked by this answer. The movie I feel sucks, but still love, The Twilight Saga. I'm a true and utter twihard. I've camped out at Tent City 5 days. I love the book so much I accepted the movies. Stephanie Meyer is my effing queen, but damn it, the movies blew monkey balls. But like I said, I took what was given. In 20 years, I hope someone can cast good actors. Please, no more sullen Kristen Stewart type. Sorry, that girl can't act her way out of a paper bag. And do this movie properly. Judge all you want. Yes, they sucked, but I love them. I wanted to tweet, though, but I have you many Twilight fans who would chew me out. I already got in fights for a case to bong joke. Don't have time for that. Don't get time for that. Thanks for a great podcast, Tammy. Also, Chad L. tweeted us. He said, Dear H_outsider.
I think it's Shell L, not Chet L, or Chet, whatever the hell you said.
Oh, hell. Look,
That's a lady.
And maybe I had weird science on the brain.
Maybe it's a guy. I don't know.
Shell or Chell.
We don't have pictures. So.
L. Dear H_outsider, here is hoping Justin and the gang, especially Justin, comments on Patton Oswalt's wonderful hashtag Park Star Wars Avengers movie idea. I never actually saw it.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's hilarious. He riffs on...
No, you and Brian both. Brian, did you see it?
No.
Oh,
That's okay.
you guys need
Don't
to...
worry, Shell. I included the link, so they
The
could have
link
watched
is
it.
there, but I didn't see it. We'll have to bring this up again next week, but I'm sorry.
He needs time to focus. But let me tell you, it is friggin' awesome.
It's hilarious.
You got to give him credit. Kudos. So I'll give you my thoughts on it. I think it's the most fantastic idea ever, and I would pay $47 to see that movie. If that happened, $47.
I thought it started out as a really good idea and then just kind of went...
No, I thought it created
Crazy.
into the most fantastic idea. Go Google it. It's from Park and Rec, Recreation or whatever. It's Patton Oswalt's Star Wars, Avengers, whatever the hell it is. It's fantastic. Brian, you got one.
Yep. This one's from Sue. She says, Hey guys, I am dreadfully sorry for not publicly acknowledging Brian's big 4-0. Rest assured, I replayed a couple of Brian's best podcast moments, put on some background Barry White, and held a private celebration. Wink, wink.
I don't even want to know what that means.
So happy birthday, big fella. You being 40 makes me a cougar. Oh man, I'm so scared. I suppose I can deal with that. Congrats on making Bruce's website, Aaron. Very groovy indeed.
Thank you very much.
Keeping on, my friends. Smooches. Sue. Love you, Sue.
You got to say that right. You got to be like groovy. You got to say it right.
Groovy.
Yeah, you suck. Scotty?
we got a tweet from Shell L as well. She says, I blame/think the Hollywood Outsider at H_outsider. And episode 89.
You guys don't actually have to say the fucking Twitter name. Well,
Hey,
I guess. Hey,
I'm
it sounds
trying
like-
to,
Yeah, there you
trying
go.
to pimp the show, man. I blame/thank Hollywood Outsider and episode 89 for reminding me to watch Ford Fairlane again. Fun time tonight. Also,
Booty time, across the USA.
also Brad P writes,
My bow. Oh!
Do the dishes.
you guys done?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, just getting
No,
started.
not by a long shot.
Also, Brad P says, thanks to at H_outsider, about to watch The Adventures of Ford Fairlane again. Hashtag 1-800-UNBELIEVABLE.
Unbelievable. Oh! Brian? That never stops being funny, man.
Junebug says, did Justin seriously just ask Aaron how to pronounce a name? And she sends a link.
Yep.
Seriously, though, you make Thursdays rock.
Thank you. And yes, That fucker did. I'm very proud of him. And I've said fucker a lot this episode. I don't know what that's about, but
Every week I seem to get worse with names. I've contracted Aaronitis. It's terrible.
you got the bonus plan. Oh. Sorry.
No, I'm calling you an anus, anus.
Oh, shit. Justin.
We have an email from JRock NYC. Says, just wanted to give Justin a hell yeah and an amen regarding his opinion on Kubrick's 2001, or Kubrick's. Shit's like a sleeping pill. Anesthesiologists could administer it during major surgery. Thunder hose. Oh.
All right, we got another email from Sean M. He says, I listened to your take on the MTV Movie Awards and wanted to add my 2 cents. I think the MTV Movie Awards basically is a popularity contest. I actually think the whole network has become a black mark on our society. MTV doesn't even show music videos. Need I say more? On a side note, I don't really like baseball movies, but Justin, you need to watch The Sandlot and report back to all the listeners. Sean M.
Kid movie.
Do you know the winners of the MTV Movie Awards actually know they won before the show? That's how
Really?
they get them to come to the show. Yep.
So everybody else doesn't? If you don't get a call, would you show up?
Nope, I wouldn't.
So only the winners are
That's
there?
why the winners are almost always there. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, and one more email. This is actually from Brad P. He sent in earlier the tweet too. Here's an update on The Rock. If you missed it, Dwayne Johnson tweeted this morning that his doctor had to push his intestines back through the tear in his abdominal wall, and he will be undergoing surgery next week, which he did undergo surgery, and he's fine. He's tweeting pictures of himself. Johnson had been trying to avoid surgery, initially saying he couldn't even consider it an option until after filming the Hercules movie, which starts filming in May. And Brad says, more proof God doesn't want Brett Ratner making movies. That was the funniest thing I read all week. That cracked me up. Hollywood Outsider. You can find us on Facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Thousands listen. Not many go to like the page. Like the frickin' page. Go like it right now. And you know our Twitter address because everybody said it at least 47 times in the last, half hour.
Unfucking believable.
Stay through the credits for outtakes. Go to our website at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Email us with anything you want at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Tell your friends, subscribe on iTunes, Zune, Google Reader. Listen on your Stitcher Radio app or any plain old RSS feed, as well as RockfordCollegeRadio.com Thursdays from 4 to 6. We are going to retire Google Reader next week because, it's going away. Why mention it? Thanks to each of the podcasters for being on the show. Justin McCumber, who's a minor magic, is available on Amazon, paperback, Audible, and Kindle. Thanks, Justin.
Hickory dickory dock.
Never stops being funny. Brian Williams.
I almost shit a Miata.
And Scotty Clark.
If you don't make it, I'll be okay.
No, that's not even the quote.
Damn it,
Scott.
Did I mess with the line?
Oh, God.
No.
What?
If you fall, I'll still
Which
make it.
one of us four has not even seen the movie?
I've seen the movie.
I believe it's, if you fall,
If you
I'll
fall,
make it.
I'll
make
still
it.
make it.
Poor Scotty. Okay, now remember, guys, if you go to a theater, poor Scotty's crying. If you go to a theater,
It would be a Wednesday if Scotty wasn't crying.
buy popcorn. Oh, I love when people put recipes up for sweets. That's awesome. Almond Joy brownies. That just sounds scrumptious. Now, if only they had an app that could make them for me.
It's called a wife.
I saw a post today on Facebook that said, if you think about it, the story of Cinderella backwards is a story about a girl that finds her place.
Clint Eastwood. I fucked him.
Oh!
Mentally and physically exhausting day to day. So,
Do you want
Is
us
this
to...
one of those work things I've forgotten about?
So it ain't that secret if you don't open your fucking phone.
Oh. No, see, I turned that off so that I can be respectful to you guys and be present.
Good call. That's not true. You surf porn half the show.
What? I felt better.
Did you tuck one out?
this
This is the Hollywood Outsider Weekly Entertainment Podcast, where this week we're going to look at upcoming releases, including the fucking That didn't go long.
We gave you that one. Now you're fucked. Time to bring the pain, Justin.
You done fucked up.